What's up, degenerates? Welcome to episode 6 of the Colbert Sports Wheelbarrow podcast. And as always, I'm joined by Joe Value in-house. How's things, Joe?
Oh, very well, Paddy. Thanks very much. Not a bother. Go on.
Good. And we have a special guest on today, an old friend of mine that I haven't seen in years, Khalil De Burca. How's things, Khalil?
All good, Paddy. All good.
Good stuff. So just going to get a little bit interesting for the viewers and the followers. Khalil, tell us a bit. You've been in Sweden training horses now for a few years, and things going very, very well for you out there. Give us a little bit of background in your decisions to go there and how well it's been going for you.
Yeah, I kind of came up there off the back of a bit of a personal reason. My partner passed away, and kind of got a bit of a loose end, and an owner of mine took me up for a bit of a break, for a bit of headspace, and we headed off to the Norwegian Derby, and in the space of 10 days he managed to talk me back into training race horses again. So I suppose the rest is history. We moved up there September 2019, and we've done 2 full seasons up there now. So we've been champion jumps trainer for the last 2 years, and we've been second in the flat championship both years. It's gone pretty good.
Yeah, definitely interesting. So you're in the north of Sweden, isn't it? I think up.
Yeah, we're in Stockholm. We're at the main track, which is Barrow Park, dual purpose track. It's got a dirt track, which I suppose to some guys would be a little bit like Southall, and then we've got a grass track for the flat, and then we've got our own jumps track. And the jumps track would be a flat version of Fontwell. It's kind of like a figure of 8 track. So it's good facilities. You know what I mean? It's a good spot.
Definitely,
good prize money.
Definitely something I'm interested to find out. And see, program-wise out there for you, Khalil, what have they got for you, like as far as, young horses or older horses? Is it a better program for flat jumps?
We've done exceptionally well with our jumpers, and like I'd say most of the jumpers that we've been winning with up here, they probably be 105, 110 horses in England at their absolute best. I think our best jumper we have, early voice, I'd say he probably would be 135, 140 horse. He came from Ireland, but he just improved for fast ground. He's fairly decent now. I think he'd actually be probably a grade 3 horse in England. Program wise here, our 2-year-old season starts late, but it's quite good. It's a good place for fillies. We've won a couple of listed races with fillies now that wouldn't be listed class in Ireland or England. They'd be an 80, 85 rated fillies. So it gives people a chance, We've done well with cheap horses. We've never had expensive horses up there. So we're competitive, but we find when it does come to the big races and the group and listed races, yeah, you need the artillery, because there's a couple of big players up there like Niels Peterson, Lido Neurod, Frederick or Junior Reuterschuld. They've got proper heavy hitters that will give a couple of $100,000 for a year, and so kind of hard to be boxing with them when you're knocking around with $5 and $10 yearlings. But we're still holding our own, and we're back on the way. So that's the main thing.
Yeah, nice to speak to you. I was just going to ask a question about, do you have a handicap system out there, or is it done in grades, or what way does that go?
I wouldn't call it a handicap system that most people would understand if you were in Ireland or England. It's a grading. It's kind of a DAF system where you could have a mark of, let's say, 80, and the race conditions will tell you it'll be -10 or -15 or -20. So very hard. Like, it's not a handicap system, and the handicapper is as Roger random as they come. You could have a horse finish second and get crucified, and the winner wouldn't move, and it's not a handicap. It's to be honest, I'll probably get shot for this, but I think it's a joke. But at the same time, if you understand handicapping and you know what you have at home, we've rattled up sequences with horses like where we've won 3 and 4 races with them.
How would the prize money compare, say, to the UK
Savage.
and Ireland? And
savage.
Yeah,
Absolutely savage. Yeah, we're picking up 4.5 and $5,000 for winning 2-year-old maidens. That's in euros. It's good at a level. If you were racing for that's a $10,000 maiden in the UK or Ireland, you're probably running into Aidan O'Brien or any of the big boys, and a $10,000 maiden in England, you could be taking on a couple of $100,000 breeze up horses, where I'm normally taking on kind of run-of-the-mill horses, except for the big races where we do have to run in and face those expensive yearlings or expensive breeze up horses.
Right.
And tell us a bit more, Khalil. You say Bro Park is the main track you race. So how many racetracks are in the north of Sweden, or what's it like? As in,
there's only
spread all over, or just?
Yeah, we've got a track in. We've got a track obviously in Stockholm, which is Bro Park. We have a track in Gothenburg, which is obviously Gothenburg, and that's a dual purpose track. There's a jumps track there as well. Then you've got Jägersro, which is in Malmo, is a dirt track, oval track, very tight. And then we also have Klampenborg, which is in Denmark, grass track. And then you have Vaule in Norway, which is a grass and dirt track as well. Same again, very sharp track. There's group and listed races here. There's listed and group races in Barrow. There's listed and group races in Klampenborg, Malmo, and Klampenborg, Malmo, Jägersro, Vaule and Bro Park. There's no listed race or group race in Gothenburg, but one of the Swedish classics, the St. Ledger, is run there. So good fair galloping track now, to be fair. It'll be interesting, just kind of a little bit of a sidebar, but Willie Mullins has bought a real nice filly by Camelot out of Sweden to go jump, and he bought her at Arcana, and she won the Swedish Ledger on a big flat galloping track, and I'm really looking forward to seeing her going jumping in Ireland. I think she could be a bit special.
And is she going to run soon, Khalil, in Ireland?
Don't know. I to be fair, I was underbidder on her in Arcana. I wanted to buy her to come down to Dubai, and Willie bought her to go jumping. I'd say she'd be a spring filly now. She had a busy enough campaign in Sweden, but she'd be a filly now that could turn up in the spring or go on into the summer. She could be really interesting. She's a big scopy filly as well. She'll jump a fence in time. Keep an eye out for her.
Interesting. Tell me this: how many horses have you in yourself? Flat or jumps, or are you a big mixture, or have you more of one and less of the other?
Big mixture. Between Dubai and we've 12 horses in Dubai. We have 40 horses in Sweden, and between Newmarket and the Curragh, we have probably another 8 or 10 yearlings, 2-year-olds riding out. So I suppose under management, we've got about 75 horses.
Busy, so.
Yeah, we're busy, but like the whole idea is kind of getting to Dubai. The model's changing a little bit. Like we'll use after this season, we probably won't be as heavily invested in Sweden because it's just changing a little bit. We'll use it more as a proving ground and pre-training ground for Dubai.
And tell me this: you say you've 10 in Dubai, so are you going to station there throughout most of the next couple of months?
So we shipped in our carnival horses on the 18th of December. So that's Dubai World Cup horses. We shipped in 3 horses for that. Plus we shipped in a further 9 horses for the local meetings. So we have we've got a local license, and we've got a Dubai World Cup license. So we have 3 horses for carnival and 9 horses for local. And the local horses will probably stay based here, and we'll probably sell them off at the end of the season, or if Anthony's decent enough, we'll keep them down here for next season.
Just definitely interesting. Joe, are you familiar much with Meydan and the race circuit out there? I've never been, nor don't know a whole lot about it. But
neither do I. But I was just wondering, this horse that you're running tomorrow, that's seems to me that it's by Cato Glory. Is that correct?
Cato Glory.
Yeah,
she's a
Cato. Yeah, Cato Glory. So would that be more of a grass horse, but you're going on the dirt tomorrow, or is it handy to have a horse that will go on both?
To be fair, she won her maiden on the dirt in Bro Park, and we never really galloped her on the grass till we came down here, and weren't really sure whether she'd handle the dirt handle the grass. Gave her 2 pieces of work down here on the grass, and it's opened up options for us. So I think, look, she's got form. She's won her maiden on the dirt, so we'll stick to the dirt for now. The Guineas and the Oaks are on dirt, so we'll stick to that for now. We might see how we fare out of that. We might have a tilted listed or group race on the grass in the future, you know.
Tell me this, Khalil, about tomorrow, the trip, obviously stepping up to a mile, being by Cato Glory. That was the Barry Hills trained horse, I think. He was a fast horse, if I'm right, a chestnut horse. Did Barry Hills, I think, trained them in England. She was impressive winning her maiden by 6 lengths in Bro Park. She clocked the time of 1:12.90. So definitely moving on debut. I'm just going to give you a little comparison here. I've done a small bit of research. She was a second faster than Starman when he won his maiden, who's a top class horse in England. She also, I went through the race a little bit tomorrow. I see Godolphin has won it 12 times. They have no runner in it this year. However, the horse that finished third in it last year and the horse that finished fourth both run well. They were both 2 6 furlong winners on maiden. One clocked the time of 1:15.68 and one clocked the time of 1:15. So already on her only start, she has shown a time figure that she might be a little bit better than the average filly coming in here. I know different tracks and speed figures can't all be, put together, but she's already shown she's pretty pacey and classy.
This filly's been, she's been the apple of my eye for a long time. She's fair too. I think the step up to a mile won't bother her. She's out of a Royal Applause mare. She's actually a half brother to, I think he's a point or a hurdle winner, so I'm not really worried about that. She has a nice way of going. Look, she has to deliver tomorrow, to be honest, but she's going there well. She's fit. We've done everything we can with her. There's always a concern coming off a 200 and something odd day layoff, but
she
look, there's only one Guineas
June, I think, was it?
Yeah, she won her
maiden. Sorry, Khalil, we just better get this sorted. Can you please pronounce her name, because I'm not even going to try.
Ushai Chavras.
Ushai Chavras, and she runs in the 3:45 UAE 1,000 guineas in Meydan tomorrow on the dirt over a mile. Definitely interesting. Look, I'm not familiar with a lot of the fillies in the race. However, I have seen there's a Fazi Abdullah Nas filly winning the last day. Shahama. She looked very good too from two. Couple of the other horses, Little Aphrodite or whatever was in behind her. And that, but Little Aphrodite was also a winner on debut over 6 furlongs, clocking a time of 1:13.61. So you're a second faster than that as well. So
Just a question, Khalil, if you don't mind. I see she wears a hood tomorrow. Does she wear a hood on debut or?
Yeah, she's a little hot-headed filly. She's just a filly that loves routine. She's just a big routine girl, and we just keep it on her just to keep her relaxed and calm, Maybe in time as she learns to grow up, we'll take it off her, but we're not going to change something that worked, So no, it's not. It wouldn't be seen as a deterrent,
Tiger Shea will give you a good steer as to what kind of a future she has as well, I suppose. He's ridden a lot of good horses over there.
Yeah, to be honest, lads, this filly had a Royal Ascot entry. And the only reason she didn't get the Royal Ascot is because we had problems because Sweden was kind of a little bit in the wings with COVID at the time. We couldn't quite get comfortable with. We were able to ship the horse, himself and Ulrika, who's our stable jockey, wasn't able to travel, and we just felt, look, we're not going to send a filly over without someone she knows, and she's only a baby, so we kind of packed up the shop and said, right, we'll give her a break, we'll give her time, and we'll train her for here. With the idea of, maybe coming back into Europe or whatever in time. Look, we think she's good enough, but she has to step up on the day and deliver. And if she is, we'll go down the Oaks route and we'll go for a European campaign with her then during the summer.
That's brilliant. Yeah, best of luck with her now. I hope she runs really well.
Tell me this: when did you acquire her? Did you acquire her as a yearling? I see she was cheaply bought.
I bought her in. I bought her in Goffs. I think I get $3,500 for her.
It must make so much more sweeter to be landing into Dubai with Philly running in this race for $3,500.
Paddy, you've known me long enough now. We never had big pots for buying horses, and we always turned up to the big shows. And every now and again, we used to rock them around a bit. So, look. We haven't got big budgets. We just do the best we can with what we can. So, she's a very correct filly. So we were buying the individual rather than the pedigree. And to be 100% honest, she came highly recommended from Joey Fallon. So Joey's a fair judge now. He does a bit in the breeze ups. He used to ride Latrobe for Joseph, and it's thanks to him really. He's kind of in the eyes and ears of a couple of trusted lieutenants at the sales. So I'm very lucky, you know.
Well, he's got you halfway across the world with her, so he hasn't done too bad.
He bought her for 1,000 quid, and I gave him 3.5 grand. So we're all quids in at the moment.
Ah, jeez, no, but it's some story. I really hope she goes and runs well for you. And look, like I said, tomorrow, I'm sure is a big learning curve for you all with her, but definitely an interesting race. Tell me this, stall 5, does that body hour 6?
No, look, she's very quick out of the stall. So you know what I mean. There's no point in giving a man like Tygo Shea instructions. It's just wherever she lands, we'll just ride a race. So if she breaks fast and she's up there, we'll ride a race accordingly. If she's slow away and we drop in. So just ride her as we find her, you know.
Yeah, tell me this. You said you have as a 10 or 11 out there. What other types of horses have you? Younger horses, older horses? What else have you taken the run at the camera?
For Dubai World Cup, we have Military Style, who won the Tyros Stakes, and we have Aron Naveen that was third in the Derby, and he went on to win a Curragh Cup. So
he's a right horse.
Yeah, he's a proper horse. So we're very lucky that we've a couple of proper war horses. And then of the younger of the local horses, we have a horse called Cast the Shadow, who was third in a listed race in Sweden for us. He's kind of a nice handicapper, and we have a couple of young horses that'll be running away in maidens, and we have a little sprint handicapper there called Augustus Caesar. He holds a track record over 5 at Lingfield, so he's been going kind of anywhere between 6 and a mile for us in Sweden. So just interesting little horses. We're not you know, we're trying to compete at a level out here, not necessarily the top level, but the prize money's so good. We were racing in a maiden there the last day with a filly, like, and it was a €20,000 maiden for fillies only at Meydan. So with a filly, she finished 7th. She lost a lot of ground around the bend. She probably lost about 5 or 6 lengths going wide around the bend, and she was only beaten 7 lengths. So I think she's a filly that will probably pick up something somewhere along the line. We know of the local horses, they're no real superstars, but they'll pick their prize money, and the whole idea is that they're for sale, so we'll sell them at the end of the season, you know.
He's definitely interesting. The very best to look out there. Tell us this, just give us a small insight to moving, you know, all these horses from A to B to landing to actually being in Meydan and settled. Like, is it much of a rigmarole for you to up and move?
So the Dubai World Cup horses were really lucky. So for us, it's kind of just like veterinary checks in Sweden. Then we ship them. So the journey starts at Bro Park. We drive to Malmo to Jägersro Racecourse. We stable overnight. We're examined by the state vets, and then we drive about 30 minutes down to Copenhagen, where we're picked up by Jana, which is Sheikh Mohammed's private internal transport for Godolphin. So we're loaded at Copenhagen, and 6 hours later, our horses are in Meydan. So we're really very.
Once she lands in Meydan, do you have to quarantine for a while?
Yeah, we're in NOFA. We're in international quarantine for 90 days while we're here. So that's the Dubai World Cup horses, and they can start training straight away, and we've got great facilities to train for. The local horses are a little bit different, so we have to transport them from Stockholm to Amsterdam, which is a fair journey. And then we fly from Amsterdam to Dubai, and then we go into 10 days quarantine at the same facilities. So we can still train, we can still ride them out and whatever, but we're just in a different barn. And then they're released to our local stable, which is Green Stable. So right now we've got 2 yards. We've got 3 horses in NOFA, which is international quarantine, and we've got the rest of the string are in Green Stable, which we share with Erwin Sharp.
It's definitely so interesting. And just one more quick question. On your runner tomorrow, when you have your day, or is it possible for you to give her a gallop out on the main track that she runs on while you're there, or are you?
Yeah, we train on that track every day. We train on that track every day.
Oh,
yeah.
Lovely.
So we've got 2 facilities down here. We've got the main track to train on, and then we've got what's called the training track, which is Tapita. So we've got the choice of anything, and we can use the main grass track at Meydan. We haven't galloped her on the main track because she's too lowly rated. You have to be kind of above 90, but we are allowed 1 gallop, and we kind of said we'd save that for if we were going to go to her after the Oaks. If we were going to have a tilt at one of the bigger grass races, we'd save that grass gallop for later on in the season. So that's kind of the facilities here, and they are world class. Like the vets and everything here. So.
Yeah, no, it looks
everything here is just that close.
a phenomenal place. Obviously, we watch all the big races there, the Shima Classic and the Dubai World Cup. Some of the young David Egan taken down on Mishreef last year. So really interested in watching a lot of the race. Now, I know Mickey D, one of the lads, has a fancy out there tomorrow for the service, but obviously we can't give him out on the podcast, but he likes a horse in the last race tomorrow in the sprint, so definitely going to be interesting. Joe Value, any final questions for our special guest, an old friend that I haven't seen in a long time? Hey, God be with the days. God be with the days we used to be going around the old Cotswold countryside, huh?
Yeah, no, I don't. To be honest with you, I haven't taken much of an interest in Meydan, but I'll probably take a lot more of interest in it now when I get to kind of a more of an insight, which I have here today, which is brilliant. But could you give us, Cahill, if you didn't mind, just maybe one or two horses to keep an eye out for the next couple of weeks, apart from the one that runs tomorrow, obviously.
There's a horse there that's going to run in a couple of weeks' time. He runs in one of the local races. He's a horse called Ipman. Same again, he was a cheap acquisition. Ipman, I bought him off Roger Varian for 800 quid. He's ran 8 times. He's never been out of the money for me, and he's won 3. Loves the dirt. Savagely well-bred horse. He's by Screen Hero. He's Japanese bred. Beautiful animal. And I think off 75, there's a job to be done with him out here.
Is that ITMAAN, is it? Or?
Yeah, that's him, Ipman.
IT. Yeah, we'll find it. We'll have a look.
I send you over a pint.
If he wins, hey, if you need a groom for the carnival next year, I'll brush a few. Hey.
Exactly. No problem.
Thanks a million, lads. Short and sweet, but definitely very interesting conversation. I think we learned a lot there about a lot of things with Sweden and Dubai, and definitely very interesting. Thanks a million, Khalil. Thanks a million, Joe. As always, over and out. Bet safe and look after yourself.